Have you ever set a goal, got hype, maybe even told the world about it, and then nothing comes of it, so you lose confidence in yourself? I know how that feels. It sucks. Like, it hurts because I failed for years before I made over 7 figures online in my business with just one digital product doing a little over 900K. But I realized that I was focusing on the wrong things, and that's why I was getting the wrong results. So today, I'm gonna break down why you keep falling short and how you can break out of that cycle to finally achieve literally anything that you want, because it's more than doable and it's pretty simple too. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Motivation is bullshit if you're relying on it to drive results. And it's only gonna take me about 5 minutes to break this down. So if you don't have 5 minutes to spare, then you're probably just offended and you're gonna click off of this to go watch some video to make you feel good about yourself. But you don't need another dopamine hit. You don't need another podcast. You don't need a feel good quote. You need to act, especially when you don't feel like it. You don't build confidence by thinking, you build it by doing. That's the cheat code. Action first, motivation after. Most people get it backwards. They want to feel ready before they move, when successful people move even when they feel like trash. That's what separates those that get what they want from those who just talk about it year after year after year. But you need to understand this about motivation. Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings fade. There's no different than being happy or being sad or being mad, right? You're not going to be happy all the time. You're not going to be sad all the time. You're not going to be angry all the time, right? That's the same thing with motivation. It's a feeling and it fades. So that's why you need discipline, because discipline is going to cause you to take those actions that you need to take on a day-to-day basis, even when you don't feel like it. And the winners are disciplined enough to do the things that they need to do every single day, even when they don't want to, even when they don't feel like it. And that's why most people aren't achieving what it is that they claim that they want to achieve. That's why most people aren't moving. It's simply because they don't feel like it, but they're not disciplined enough to throw that feeling to the side and just do it. So it's about taking massive imperfect action. And look, here's the reason why you're stuck. You're obsessed with being perfect instead of just being in motion. You're overthinking the business idea. You're replanning the product. You're preparing for launch. You're thinking about what a cool logo should be. What should my brand colors be? What platform should I use? What software to use? Meanwhile, there's somebody dumber than you that's already winning just because they're moving. Let that sink in. Perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. It's your brain protecting your ego from failure. But here's the truth. You're gonna suck at first. You will make mistakes, but that is how you are going to get good, through failure. Fail. Fail stands for finding an individual lane. Look, failures are the only way that you do figure out what does work, because the only way to figure out what does work is that you first have to figure out what doesn't work. And all that stuff that doesn't work is failing. That is the recipe for success. Anybody that you view as a success in any endeavor, anybody that you possibly may look up to, or anybody that you're inspired by, or anybody that you want to do similar things as, the separator between them is that they have been through so many failures and they are disciplined enough to stick with the plan through all of the failures, that they figured out their individual lane when everybody else just quit. So look, here's the discipline fits, and this is the formula that I personally use. I call it the triple C's. It comes down to clarity, constraint, and consistency. Clarity is knowing exactly what the next action is, not the whole plan, but just the next step. Constraint is focusing on one big goal. Don't scatter your whole energy across 5. And consistency, do it daily, even if it's small, even if it sucks, especially if it sucks. Discipline is just like a muscle, and just like the gym, you don't see results overnight, but in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months of consistent action, you won't even be able to recognize yourself. And finding success, and that's another thing, you need to define what success is for you, because I got lost some years back on my entrepreneurial journey because I lost sight on what I defined definition is, and I got distracted by what others had defined definition as. So once you're locked in on what your definition is of success, all success is made just like that gym analogy I used of your discipline being a muscle that you can work, right? And if anybody has ever worked out, like I'm a former athlete, you know that all of the success comes in you focusing on your inputs, not your outputs. And most people that are out here failing, that can't reach any of the levels of success that they've deemed, that can't reach any of the levels of the goals that they've set for themselves, they're focused on the outputs. They're focused on the results instead of focusing on the consistent inputs that they need to put in. So a big key to this, and one of my secrets I that I live by, and everybody that has implemented this also, it's like impossible for them to fail. So many people that I've helped are winning with this, is that you need to stop setting goals and start setting standards, right? Because we never rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our standards. Just think about it. Every single thing that you just have set as a standard in your life, you expect it and you get it. Why? Because you set that as the standard. So even something as simple as water, there's certain people that refuse to drink tap water and they only drink a certain type or a certain brand of bottled water. Why? Because they set that as a standard. They don't accept anything less. So same thing with our goals and our aspirations and our entrepreneurial endeavors. We need to start setting certain standards of inputs and don't focus so much on the output. So if I can use another sports analogy, somebody like Steph Curry, if you're not familiar, he's the best shooter of all time. Steph Curry, he focuses on the daily inputs of working on his craft. He's not focusing on the output of the ball falling through the hoop. Because once that ball leaves his hand, he has no control over the outcome, but he knows that he has prepared with all of the inputs to where he is more than confident to let that ball fly. When a lot of people, they're scared to shoot the ball. Why? Because they know that they have not put in the necessary inputs to get their desired outcome, so they don't shoot. It's the same things with our goals. It's the same things with our dreams. It's the same thing with our aspirations. Those people that are not confident in themselves, at the root of it, it all comes down to they really know that they have not put in the necessary inputs to get their desired output, to get their desired result. They're just focusing on the result. So another example, somebody may want to grow a YouTube channel, but they're focusing on the views and the subscribers. Well, guess what? You have absolutely no control over the views or the subscribers. You are focusing on the outputs. Well, how about you focus on the inputs of becoming a better communicator? How about you focus on the inputs of learning some copywriting skills? Because YouTube, at the end of the day, a title and a thumbnail is just copy. A good title and a thumbnail is no different than a good subject line on an email. A title and a thumbnail is no different than a good header on a sales page or a landing page. How about you focus on the input of putting something out into the world that did not exist yesterday, so you can get some feedback from it and actually have communication with the people that are consuming your content, whether that be through the comments, whether that be giving away something for free or selling them something and then asking them if you can get on a phone call with them to get some actual feedback from them, either on the phone or on a Zoom call or something. How about you focus on an input of learning persuasion skills? How about you focus on an input of product creation? How about you focus on an input of human psychology? Because basically everything in business and entrepreneurship and sales just comes down to basic human psychology. Even your own personal development, you have to master yourself in your brain, right? But all these things are inputs, and these are the things you can actually control. And that's how you get that confidence. That's how you know that you're gonna win. Just like Steph Curry has that confidence to shoot that basketball like no other, because he has detached himself from the results, and you need to do the same. So many people can't detach themselves from the result because that's all that they are focused on. But you can detach yourself from the results and know that it's a win regardless, because you know that you have done the necessary things to win. You know that you are prepared. So focus on inputs versus outputs and results, and set new standards for yourselves instead of setting goals, because I don't set any goals. I just set standards for myself, because I know that I'll never rise to the level of my goals, but I will always fall to the level of my standards. But let me be real with you. You don't need more time. You don't need more books. You don't need more clarity. You need to move. You're not going to feel ready. You're not going to feel confident, and you for sure aren't going to feel motivated every day. But if you learn how to act without those feelings, That's where the game changes. That's where you go from stuck to unstoppable, like all them that you see on the screen right now. And if you're ready to make more working less online from stuff that you already know, go ahead and click the link down in the description and join this credit at the top community. For weekly coaching from myself, all my exclusive trainings, plus a private community and entrepreneurs, all designed to grow your business online. It's only $97 a month to join right now. That's less than a cup of coffee per day. So click the link down in the description and tap in, and I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. Well, I'm telling you, reaching whatever level of success that you desire, it's more than doable, it's more than achievable, and it is really, really simple when you can actually just focus. So here's my challenge to you. Make a decision on one thing that you are going to do. And I say decision because it needs to be definitive. We need to stop negotiating back and forth with ourselves. That's why people aren't achieving stuff out here, because they believe that they have options. And the thing with the option is that an option has choices. But when you make a decision, it's definitive. You're cutting off all other options. And from that one thing that you have decided to do, break it down into small, clear steps and start today, not tomorrow, today, and keep showing up. Especially when you don't want to, and especially when you don't feel like it. And then all of a sudden people start asking you like, oh, how do you do this stuff? Oh, you just make everything look so easy. And then you'll be able to confidently reply, because it is easy. But what's easy to do is also easy to not do. So it's easy to build that discipline muscle, but it's also easy to make the decision to not build it. So go ahead and click the link down in the description if you want to tap into the community. And I'll see you on our coaching call this Wednesday. And go ahead and check out this video right here about how you can make a lot of money before you even launch a product from a small YouTube channel. It's credited at the top.